Michel Foucault's Discipline and Punish, The Birth of the Prison, is a seminal work that critically examines the historical evolution of systems of punishment in Western societies. Published in 1975, the book is a profound analysis of how power operates through disciplinary mechanisms, particularly within institutions like prisons, schools, and the military. Foucault's approach transcends the traditional legal or philosophical analyses of punishment, focusing instead on the socio-political and cultural transformations that have shaped modern penal systems. Below is an exploration of the key themes, arguments, and significance of discipline and punish. Historical transition, from sovereign power to disciplinary power. Foucault begins by contrasting two distinct eras of punishment: the spectacle of public execution during the period of sovereign power and the hidden, regimented punishments of disciplinary societies. In the pre-modern era, punishment was a public spectacle, designed to reaffirm the sovereign's authority. For example, gruesome public executions and torture served to demonstrate the sovereign's absolute power over the body of the condemned. By the late 18th and early 19th centuries, this system was replaced by a more concealed form of punishment, focused on reforming the individual rather than inflicting pain. This shift marked the rise of disciplinary power, which operates not through physical violence, but through surveillance, normalization, and the internalization of social norms. The move from spectacle to discipline reflects broader changes in societal structures, including the rise of capitalism, the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason, and the development of modern bureaucratic institutions. The role of the body in power dynamics. Foucault's work emphasizes the centrality of the human body in systems of power. Under sovereign power, the body was directly targeted through physical punishment, torture, and execution. In the disciplinary society, however, the body is controlled in more subtle ways, such as through training, surveillance, and normalization. The body becomes an object to be observed, measured, and optimized. This process is most evident in institutions like prisons, schools, and factories, where individuals are subjected to routines and rules that regulate their behavior. The shift from physical punishment to disciplinary techniques demonstrates how power is increasingly exercised through the management of bodies and behavior, rather than through overt violence. The birth of the modern prison. A significant portion of Discipline and Punish focuses on the rise of the prison as a central institution of modern discipline. Foucault critiques the idea that prisons are purely humanitarian reforms aimed at rehabilitating criminals. Instead, he argues that prisons are an extension of broader disciplinary mechanisms that permeate modern society. Foucault traces the development of the modern prison to the late 18th century, when reformers advocated for more humane and rational forms of punishment. These reforms were not merely about reducing suffering, but about creating a system of surveillance and control that extended beyond the prison walls. Prisons became laboratories for discipline, where individuals were transformed into obedient subjects through isolation, surveillance, and labor. The architectural design of prisons, such as Jeremy Bentham's Panopticon, exemplifies this new form of power. The Panopticon is a circular structure with a central observation tower, allowing a single guard to monitor all prisoners without them knowing when they are being watched. This uncertainty creates a state of constant self-surveillance, as individuals internalize the gaze of authority. Foucault uses the panopticon as a metaphor for the pervasive surveillance and control mechanisms in modern society. Discipline in broader contexts. While the book focuses on the prison, Foucault argues that disciplinary mechanisms are not confined to penal institutions. They permeate various aspects of modern life, including education, the military, and the workplace. Schools, for instance, regulate students through timetables, examinations, and rankings, creating disciplined individuals who conform to societal norms. Similarly, factories organize workers' movements and productivity to maximize efficiency. Foucault's concept of disciplinary power highlights how power operates not through coercion, but through normalization. Individuals are not merely forced to obey, they are conditioned to internalize norms and regulate their own behavior. This form of power is less visible but more pervasive, as it shapes individuals from within. The role of surveillance. Surveillance is a key mechanism of disciplinary power in Foucault's analysis. Unlike sovereign power, which is concentrated and visible, disciplinary power is diffuse and operates through constant observation. The panopticon serves as a powerful metaphor for this type of power, illustrating how surveillance leads to self-regulation. In modern societies, surveillance extends beyond the prison. It is embedded in everyday life, from CCTV cameras in public spaces to data collection on social media platforms. Foucault's analysis anticipates contemporary debates about surveillance capitalism, where corporations and governments use surveillance technologies to monitor and influence behavior. Knowledge and power. One of Foucault's most influential contributions in Discipline and Punish is his exploration of the relationship between knowledge and power. He argues that power is not simply repressive, it is productive, generating knowledge that shapes how we understand and govern individuals and populations. For instance, the development of criminology as a scientific discipline created new ways of categorizing and managing criminals. This knowledge was not neutral, it was intertwined with power, shaping how societies define deviance and enforce norms. The prison, as a site of discipline, became a space where knowledge about human behavior was produced and used to exert control. Critique of humanism and reform. Foucault challenges the notion that modern penal reforms are purely humanitarian. While they appear to be more rational and compassionate, they also create new forms of domination. The shift from torture to imprisonment reflects a deeper transformation in power relations, where individuals are controlled not through violence, but through discipline and normalization. This critique extends to broader humanist discourses that emphasize progress and individual rights. Foucault questions whether these discourses truly liberate individuals, or whether they serve to reinforce more insidious forms of control. His analysis reveals the complexities of power, showing how it operates through ostensibly benevolent institutions and practices. Relevance to contemporary issues. Discipline and Punish remains highly relevant in contemporary discussions about power, surveillance, and social control. The rise of mass incarceration, systemic inequalities in the criminal justice system, and the proliferation of surveillance technologies reflect the enduring relevance of Foucault's insights. For example, the disproportionate incarceration of marginalized communities highlights how disciplinary mechanisms reproduce social hierarchies. Similarly, the use of predictive policing and data-driven surveillance raises questions about the balance between security and individual freedom. Foucault's work challenges us to question the underlying assumptions and power dynamics of these systems. Criticism and legacy. Foucault's work has been both celebrated and criticized. Some critics argue that his analysis is overly deterministic, downplaying the possibility of resistance and agency. Others question his historical accuracy, suggesting that he oversimplifies the transition from sovereign to disciplinary power. Despite these critiques, Discipline and Punish has had a profound impact on various fields, including sociology, criminology, political science, and cultural studies. Its interdisciplinary approach and provocative arguments continue to inspire scholars and activists to critically examine the power structures that shape society. Michel Foucault's Discipline and Punish is a groundbreaking exploration of the historical transformation of punishment and its broader implications for modern societies. By analyzing the shift from sovereign power to disciplinary power, Foucault reveals how power operates through subtle, pervasive mechanisms of surveillance and normalization. His work challenges conventional understandings of progress and humanism, urging readers to critically interrogate the systems and institutions that govern their lives. Discipline and Punish remains a powerful lens for understanding contemporary issues, from mass incarceration to surveillance capitalism, making it an essential text for anyone interested in the dynamics of power and social control.